Hello and welcome. In the last episode we introduced PFAS at a high level. Today we turn to the issue that many companies in Europe are watching most closely. The proposal to restrict PFAS under REACH. This is one of the most important chemicals files currently under discussion in Europe. And for businesses, the key point is simple. This is not a narrow proposal aimed to one substance or one product. It's a broad proposal that could affect many sectors, many products and many supply chains. So, what is it? The proposal was submitted to ECHA by authorities from Germany, Denmark, the Netherlands, Norway and Sweden in January 2023 under REACH, the European Chemicals Regulation. ECHA, the European Chemicals Agency, then ran a public consultation from March to September 2023. That consultation generated more than 5,600 comments. At a high level, the aim is to reduce PFAS emissions into the environment, and that reflects one of the core ideas behind the file. The proposal is based on the view that PFAS should not be regulated only one by one. Instead, the approach is to regulate PFAS as a group. Why? Because PFAS are seen as highly persistent and because many PFAS can degrade into other persistent PFAS. That is why this file is so broad. Now, one practical point is important. People often call this a PFAS ban, but legally this is too simplistic. What is actually on the table is a REACH restriction proposal with a particular structure. First, there's one broad general restriction. Second, there is a general transition period of 18 months after entry into force. And third, there are longer derogations for certain uses where substitution is more difficult or where more time may be needed. The overall concept matters because it means this is not one single rule that it's every use in the same way at the same time. It is more differentiated than that. The proposal works through a combination of a broad restriction, a general 18 months transition, and then longer timelines for certain uses. So, for companies, the real question is not simply, is PFAS restricted? The real questions are, where do we use PFAS? In what form? In what product, process or equipment? And how might that particular use be treated under the final rules? That is why companies need to look beyond the headline. They need to understand the structure, because timing is part of the substance here. Some uses may be caught by the general rule after 18 months. Others may have much longer timelines. And another point is just as important. This file is not only about PFAS in finished products. It is also about PFAS in real operations. That means companies should not look only at what they sell. They should also look at what they buy and also what they use in manufacturing and what may sit inside their equipment and technical systems. In practice, PFAS may appear in materials, mixtures, coatings, components, seals, hoses, filters or processing equipment. And companies also need to think about emissions, because this is not only a question of whether a use continues or stops. It is also a question of where PFAS may be released and what that means for compliance in practice. So, the overall concept is broader than a simple ban narrative. It is about restriction, transition periods, derogations and implementation in the real world. So where does the process stand now? As of March 26, RAC, the Risk Assessment Committee, has adopted its final opinion, and SEAC, the Socio-Economic Assessment Committee, has agreed to publish its draft opinion. SEAC has also opened a 60-day public consultation until May 25 on that draft. That is the current milestone, but the process is not finished. ECHA does not make the final law. Once SEAC adopts its final opinion, the file moves to the European Commission, to Brussels. The Commission would then prepare the final legal text for discussion and vote with the member states in the REACH committee. So, what should companies do now? Prepare. Not later. No. They should identify where PFAS are present in their business, in products, in process, in purchased materials, in maintenance and in equipment. They should also look closely at suppliers. Where is the data solid? Where are the gaps? And where are they relying on assumptions? They should also assess emissions. Where could PFAS be released during manufacturing, handling, cleaning, maintenance or waste management? And they should begin to distinguish between uses. Uses that may be easier to be replaced, uses that are harder to be replaced, and uses that are business critical or safety relevant. So yes, this is still not final law, but that is not a reason to wait. For companies, the message is the opposite. This is the time to build a clear PFAS map and strategy, to understand products, suppliers, processes, emissions and equipment, and to plan on the basis of facts. The key message is clear. The PFAS restriction proposal under REACH is moving forward. March 26 is an important milestone, but the process is not over. And the companies in the strongest position will be the one that prepare early. Thank you for watching, and I hope you will join me again for the next episode in this series.